So in this video, I will be talking about why Damage Control needs to break up as a faction. But before I get into it, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and promote by businesses. If you do, you might get a cookie. So Damage Control. Damage Control has been a faction since 2022. They started off with they started off with 3 members. Eventually went to 4 members, then 5 members, then went back to 4 members, and currently there are 4 members of Damage Control. 3 of them are active in ring currently. Now, with the success of Damage Control, there have been 2 sets of women's tag team title reigns and a WWE Women's Championship reign. Those champions being Io Sky, Dakota Kai with the tag titles, the Kabuki Warriors with the tag titles, and Io Sky as the WWE Women's Champion. Well, now the current state of Damage Control is Bayley is no longer in Damage Control as they betrayed on her, and we had Io and Bayley at WrestleMania. Bayley became champion, so Bayley's the current women's champion. Asuka's injured. Io, Dakota, and Kairi, they are the only active members of Damage Control left. And just based off of the recent booking of Damage Control, there isn't really much for them to do. Now, initially, I was thinking that Damage Control would break up just as a whole before SummerSlam. And then we would get Bayley versus Io Sky versus Dakota Kai for the WWE Women's Championship as a way of saying, okay, I thought Bayley and Io, I thought that Io was going to retain at WrestleMania, and then that we were going to eventually get the Damage Control triple threat with Io, Bayley, and Dakota Kai at SummerSlam, because that's where they made their debut as a faction in 2022, and Bayley would win the title then. That's not what happened. So now with the current state of Damage Control, I'm really trying to figure out, well, what else can they do for Damage Control as a tag team, or a stable in this case? And I've come to the conclusion that they can't do anything, and by they I mean WWE and creative. There's really nothing else that they could do except break them up. Nobody's really benefiting from Damage Control anymore. I think the idea of Damage Control was a good idea at first, because it kind of helped put some eyes on, Dakota Kai and Io Sky when they were first getting called up. And eventually Kairi Sane returned, so her returning, so she wouldn't be directionless. That gave her something to do. And of course, Asuka and her having history, and Io having history with Asuka, Japan, and everything. Like, it made sense for her to be in the faction. And so now it's just kind of like, everything that Damage Control, the purpose of, Damage Control being a stable, like, all of that has gone out the window. Like, all that's been done already. So it's like, at this point, I feel like WWE is just keeping them together just to keep them together. And I don't really think it's benefiting anybody, especially Io, because it feels like Io's more of a singles competitor than she technically was, but like, she's still in Damage Control, but it feels like she's just a singles competitor. Like, no Damage Control, no nothing. Like, the run she's been on as of late, it does, like, sometimes I forget, like, oh, Io is in Damage Control. Like, I'll be like, oh my god, Io Sky, and then I see Dakota and Kairi come, and I'm like, oh yeah, she's still with them. And it just feel, I forget, like, I truly forget, like, sometimes Io is, like, in Damage Control. And I feel like with the way, like, Triple H has been booking her and the run that she has been on since she has lost the Women's Championship to Bayley, I mean, like, why is she still in the faction? Like, she could clearly thrive on her own, because Triple H clearly, like, wants to utilize her, as he has been utilizing her for these past few months. Now, as far as Dakota and Kairi, I'm not sure. Now, I will say this. Once Asuka returns to in-ring action, if they keep the Kabuki Warriors around, that could give Kairi something to do. As far as Dakota, I don't know. I truly don't know. And maybe that's why Damage Control hasn't broken up yet completely, because WWE just doesn't know what to do with the rest of Damage Control. Like, it's clear they know what to do with Io. Asuka is Asuka. Like, it's like WWE's going to find something for her. But Kairi and Dakota, maybe they feel like there's not much they can do with them. Or maybe there is something, but they just don't know what with the current state of the Raw women's division or the women's divisions in general. And they're like, how can we shift y'all into, these new storylines and new feuds or whatever? So that's just my opinion. Personally, I feel like they should have broken up, a long time ago. But that's just me. Whatever, it is what it is. Hopefully WWE figures out what they're going to do with them. And yeah.